Every year when we come round to the fourth Sunday in Lent, any congregation unfortunate enough to have me speaking to them will hear a similar refrain. The fact that this is not Mother's Day but Mothering Sunday, before launching into some diatribe about commercialised American imports and how Mother's Day in the US was originally a peace initiative in the wake of the Civil War there, and how Mothering Sunday here in the UK was originally about returning to our mother church, and only incidentally became associated with mothers because this was one of the few days when servant girls could get a day off to return to their families and their mothers. You can go online afterwards and check out whether any of that is true. But whatever the origins of this day, it has become inextricably linked with honouring mothers. And that, together with International Women's Day earlier in the week, and indeed the awful events in the wake of Sarah Everard's death in London this week, means that any day that honours mothers and their place and the place of women in general in society, and especially in the church, is okay by me. Especially when we put it within the context of a God who has been not just a father, but also a mother to us throughout our existence. My own mother died 30 years ago this year, but her impact on me for good and occasionally for ill still lives on. One of the things that she did for me as a child was any time that I had to read or speak in public, she would put me through it at home. She would make me stand at one end of our lounge diner at the far end of the dinner table and stand up straight, lift my chin up, take a deep breath and speak out. And so that's why I'm delivering this particular poem by Malcolm Guite in this way today. My own mum she wasn't a single mum, but she was the consistent presence in the family home. My dad was working all the hours God gave him to provide for us, but it was my mum that largely shaped who we are as men. And so as I stand here today, I want to honour my mum and all mothers. Mothering Sunday by Malcolm Guite. At last, in spite of all, a recognition for those who loved and laboured for so long, who brought us through that labour to fruition, to flourish in the place where we belong. A thanks to those who stayed and did the raising, who buckled down and did the work of two, whom governments have mocked instead of praising, who hid their heartbreak and still struggled through. The single mothers forced onto the edge, whose work the world has overlooked, neglected, invisible to wealth and privilege, but in whose lives the kingdom is reflected. Now into Christ, our mother church, we bring them, who shares with them the birth pangs of his kingdom.